to see you again.
Thank you.
How have you been since the last time we saw each other?
I've been doing good. I've been doing a lot better. I I just finished my practicum yesterday, and it feels different because I'm not really technically finishing because I got a job there. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a job in Vernon, so I feel really good about it, but I'm also feeling like anxious about the move.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
I know you worked really hard over the past few months, and I know you were really enjoying your practicum, so that's really exciting that you get to continue on with that work. And so you're feeling a little anxious about the move. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, I guess I'm just like feeling like one part of me feels like a lot of gratitude and honor because it's like the position I had in my practicum is like my dream job position, and so I feel really fortunate that I got offered a job, and like a lot of the people that even work there now are like, you're so lucky. I had to go to Smithers or Fort St. John for 2 years before, kind of working in more of a desirable community. But the part that kind of gives me anxiety is that like this will be the 5th place I've lived in 5 years, and I do pretty well with moving places, but previous to all these moves, or previous to this move, I've always had opportunities like, oh, I'm moving for school, or I'm moving to where my friends are. So I have those like social niches to kind of like, or those opportunities to meet people, whereas with Vernon, it's like I don't know anybody but my colleagues, and they're all in their 40s, and so I'm really anxious about like that piece.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a daunting thing, moving somewhere new where you don't have a lot of social connections. And I think that having a really close social network and social support is something that's important to you.
It is. Like I think that's part of my biggest fear is like I have no questions about the job and the opportunity. The biggest thing for me is like having a sense of community, and the social piece is so important to me. And I think I reflect back on like when I lived in Kamloops, I found myself like, because I was lonely, I was hanging out with people I didn't necessarily really align with.
Right.
And then it kind of made me feel more lonely. And so just like recognizing those patterns and just fear of that repeating again. And like I've got a lot of really good friends that I'm not going to be living close to, and it's okay, but it's like I worry about not having opportunity to make maybe 1 or 2 good friends like in Vernon.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. It can feel really isolating when you're surrounded by people but you're still feeling lonely because your values aren't aligning or your interests aren't aligning. So, and it can be tricky, in this day and age to find someone who you really connect with, when you're almost reaching your 30s. It's not the same like go, fast-paced social environment as it is in your early 20s. But you said that you've done this 5 times already, and sounds like you've managed to create social networks everywhere you go. So I think you have a lot of tools and ability to create that network, maybe more than you think. So I wonder if we can maybe just talk about a few strategies or some activities that you could try, and talk about how you're going to take care of yourself in the first few weeks that you move there, just to help alleviate that anxiety a little bit, and then we can talk some more once you move maybe, and we can further expand on that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan, because I know like I keep sitting here and like stewing about it, like getting ambivalent, and I'm gonna go, and it's like I think it would be helpful for me just like you said, like to help me as a transition plan of like things I can do and stuff like that. I thought about like joining a running group or something, because I like running and stuff. It's just I kind of get nervous, like I'm just used to being school where there's not this pressure, and then if I join a running group or yoga, it's like I don't know how I'm like gonna socially be like, hey, do you want to, like, how do you create a friendship in that like it's just, so I think exactly what you said, like I think I need to make a plan that's gonna help me, because I think some of this is going to be inevitable, the part of change and moving to a new place, but I think it would be really helpful for me to keep seeing you, and we can kind of come up with some strategies.
Yeah, I understand that it can kind of feel a little bit awkward or uncomfortable to try and approach other people that you don't know very well and try and make new friendships. So, like you said, a running club or yoga, something that's community based, where you can find people that have similar interests with you. That'll be helpful because you've got some talking points right off the bat that you can start a conversation. And just going back, you mentioned that you've got some colleagues at work that you have connected with, but they're a little bit older than you.
Yeah, well, so my supervisor, well, she's the reason I even got the job because she's about to have a baby. She's only 2 years older than me, and we get along great. But like, she's entering motherhood.
Yeah.
And I'm single, and so I'm in a place where like I want to meet someone, and I feel like the activities around that aren't really with a girl that's just having a baby. And then the rest of the colleagues, I get along with great, but they're all in their 40s, so I feel like just different interests and stuff like that. Like I know like I could have dinner with them and hang out with them, but I also kind of like to have my own separate life outside of work because I find sometimes like they just talk about work and I love my job, but I like that break away from work and life, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Especially when you're in this field, it can be overwhelming if you don't get that separation and that break and that alleviation for your mind a couple times a week. So maybe let's talk about the first couple weeks that you're going to arrive.
Okay.
Do you feel like, what would it look like or feel like to kind of rely on your coworkers a little bit for those first few weeks while you're getting settled?
Well, I think like I might actually get a place with one of them where she would live upstairs and I'd rent like a separate suite from her, and we have a hoot together. You know, I'm sure we'd like drink wine and cook because she really likes healthy food and stuff, and so that's okay. And then you know, a couple other them, I feel like there'd be dinners and stuff, but I think that there would be no problem for them spending time with me. It's just that I want to kind of break away and develop my own social network that's like have we hit 500?
Yeah.